Hi everyone, my name is Chris Christian and I have FASD, which is fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. When I went into ICANN for the testing that they do to diagnose you for what you have on that spectrum, mine was ARND, which is kind of like they couldn't really figure out where I was on that spectrum, because in a lot of the areas that people with FASD are weak in, I was strong in, and some areas I was weaker in that they're usually stronger in, and so I was pretty much undiagnosed. They just said I was ARND, which is alcohol-related neurodevelopmental disorder, and a lot of the time with FASD or other disabilities, the only people that really get it are the doctors who have studied it or, done their theses on it and continue to work with people that have disabilities, or the parents or the person themselves that has the disability. And FASD is not the easiest thing to deal with because sometimes it socially stunts you. So even though you may be higher functioning, you may not always be able to get a job because socially you're stunted. Your growth is stunted by, social things like loud noises, large groups, your math, lots of activity, lots of people moving around, or people just being around you that are not very positive or aren't that happy with their lives and they're kind of upset. And all of that kind of affects the way that we're able to get jobs. But if there were jobs where the expectation was that when you come into work, you're happy, you leave your home life at home, and your mind is more work oriented, and you're able to kind of work around people who need it to be a calm environment. That's important for people that have this disability, is to have a calm environment that they can go into and work in without dealing with people's dramas or emotions in this group of people that are working around you. For me personally, I've always not really liked public places that are really loud, like malls and other such areas. I like the parks, I like the libraries, I like the areas that are more quiet so that you can actually just enjoy yourself. And a lot of the time, FASD really means you have to take care of yourself better than most people, or you have to have a higher standard of how you take care of yourself, because you have to be more organized, you have to stay on a schedule, because if you get off that schedule, then a lot of things can be messed up. You have to, sometimes if you're very low functioning, then you have to stay with your parents or move into a group home or move into a home share, which is sometimes if you're lower functioning, you're immobile, then you have to live with people within their home. Or you can, if you're more higher functioning, then you can live below them in a basement suite or an upstairs suite, depending on what they have for you. And you can enjoy being an independent but also coexistent liver with other people. And sometimes it's not always easy, but it's the best thing for you to live in a home share. And I'm just going to start talking about the funding. Right now, the government has a 3 to 5 year plan where they're going to keep bumping up our living allowances. Right now, it's at $215 a month, and next month it's going up to $250 a month. And still, that's not quite livable, but for when you're paying, and the whole amount is for a single person is $975.65 each month, but that pays for your rent, that pays for your clothing, that pays for your phone bills, your other bills you have to pay, and then on top of that, if that person's a parent, then that's also, they get a little extra because they're paying for their children. but a lot of the time it's not really a livable amount, because what you're left with is just to cover your toiletries, and just enough to cover your toiletries and such, and you can't replace things as easily that wear out, like clothes or shoes. And if you get really smart and become really frugal with it, then yeah, you can. But a lot of the time, it's just made it really unlivable for people who are on PWD or PPMD or other financial supports or financial assistance, and people who are just wanting to get into PPMD or PWD or other persons with disabilities funding. They have to start with social assistance, which is only $600 a month, and 325 of it is supposed to go towards your rent, but when you're living in the city, 325 wouldn't even cover it. And so a lot of the times the rent is like 600 and up. So basically all that money, even your food money when you're on financial assistance, goes straight into your rent. But for myself, I'm in a good place right now, and I'm in a home share where everything is taken care of pretty much, and I'm well taken care of, and I'm happy to live with the people that I'm living with because they're good people. And I'm just basically renting out a basement suite for myself, which is nice. But for a lot of parents out there, if you need help or assistance, go to Community Living BC and check it out, or go to Work BC and see if you can talk to one of the people there and see if they can help you get assistance for it or get home share money for it for your son or daughter or whomever is living with you, because it can be a great financial support, but also a social support too for the person. If you can get them a community inclusion worker, that's even better, because then that means they're getting out once or twice a week, or even every day a week, for a couple of hours each day, which gives you a little bit of a break and gives them a little bit of a break. Okay, well, I'm just going to end my video here, and I'll upload more videos if I get enough likes. Bye!